Howdy folks, I'm Heroic Mountain Hare, happily helping hapless hamsters.
I'm Amber.
And here are more hamsters for us to haplessly help. And not to be confused with hampsters, which, if you know anything about geography, is a state in the United States. Let's get started. I think that's New Hampsters.
Will not correct him.
All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Asking My Daughter to Be Quiet? I'm a 53-year-old male, and my kid is a 12-year-old female, and she is very talkative, to the point where it is a problem. She's autistic, and she talks a lot about her interests, and doesn't matter where she is. She always finds a way to talk about them. I have to admit that it's a little embarrassing for me because I can't get her to stop, so everyone is stuck listening to her. Yesterday, my coworkers, boss, and I decided to have a team bonding event, and we brought our kids. We ended up going to the aquarium, which unfortunately set off my daughter because she loves fish. The whole time, she was telling everyone about the fish, and while they looked like they were fine, I knew that they were wishing that she would be quiet. At one point, I had had enough, and I pulled her aside and I asked her to please stop talking. I told her that she was embarrassing me and nobody actually wanted to hear what she was saying. I felt bad for saying it, but I just had to be blunt and make sure that she understood. She refused to talk for the rest of the time we were there. Later, my boss pulled me aside and asked why my daughter was being so quiet for the rest of the day, and I told him that I had finally got her to shut her mouth. My boss got mad and said that I was a jerk to her and that he enjoyed hearing her talk about the fish and giving everyone fish facts. Several coworkers agreed with him after hearing us talk and said that I was a bad father and I crushed her spirit. They ended up buying her some stuffed fish from the aquarium and telling her that despite what I said, they would love to hear more info on fish the next time they see her. She is fine now, but she is avoiding me and keeps apologizing for being embarrassing. My wife is now harping on me because she also thinks that I was in the wrong. And my daughter won't say it, but I think that she feels the same too. Was I the jerk? Folks, what do you think? Every single person in OP's life is like, you're a jerk. You're a terrible jerk. But somehow, maybe he isn't a jerk. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely the jerk here. That was such a heartful thing to say. Now, there is a time and a place for talking, and it is important to find ways to communicate. Like if you're at a funeral, they might expect silence there. And there are ways you can, do research online or maybe talk with a therapist if you have a hard time getting through to your kid about, explaining appropriate places. But at the aquarium, like when they're touring with other people, that seems like a perfectly fine place to give some fish facts.
Yeah.
And it seems like Opie's doing a lot of projecting here. They seemed fine, but I knew they weren't fine. And they literally tell me they're fine, but I know deep down because I'm annoyed by my kid, they must also be.
I actually have some advice for OP. I don't think they're in the wrong here. I don't think they're in the wrong at all. What I think they should do is I think they should pack up a suitcase. I think they should get everything they need. And I think that they should go far, far away, maybe like to the moon, and then they can send child support.
Well, it seems like OP has been harboring some resentment toward their child for a long time. And instead of dealing with this in a healthy and constructive way, because kids, neurodivergent or neurotypical, can be annoying. If you have to listen to one person 24/7 talking, yeah, it may get on your nerves, but you need to find constructive ways of dealing with that. And I think therapy might help OP to process and realize, that what he's doing is not okay, that the way he's taking this out on her daughter, telling her that she's an embarrassment, that's such a hurtful thing to say to a child. And yeah, I think he needs therapy. He needs to recognize that what he did was wrong, own up to it, apologize to his daughter, and explain that she wasn't embarrassing and, all that sort of stuff. And just
remember, daddy laughs because you cry. I mean, okay. Yeah, I think that's about all of it too. I just really think that this guy would be a happier individual not being part of this family unit and not being around their daughter. And I really think that it would be better for the daughter as well, because she doesn't need to be bullied by a parent who is going to be cruel and mean to them. And the thing is that kids are sensitive. Kids haven't figured out all the different ways. There's no need to give a kid a complexion at a young age like this,
Right. Well,
right?
he said he justifies it by I have to be blunt because if autistic people all need bluntness, but
Yeah.
very clearly she understands. Like, she as soon as he said, "Oh, you're embarrassing me," she clammed up and stopped
Yeah.
talking. And so again, it's what he is doing is not helpful. It is hurtful, and
Hmm.
I if he feels like this all the time, then yeah, it's probably best if he's not around the daughter if he's going to do this. But if it was like one incident over the course of 12 years, then like maybe therapy will help him be a better parent.
Maybe, maybe. But let's find out from the Wheel of Judgment. Let's see what it has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Definitely the jerk.
Yep.
The wheel is on fire.
Yes.
It is on fire. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for calling my sister weird for how she views boys? And Amber wants to read this one.
My kids have school off, so my mom invited us over to spend time with her since she got out of the hospital. It would make her feel better to have her family around. I was going to cook my mom something, but my son insisted he wanted to make his grandma her favorite dish. My mom loves seafood, so he decided to make that. I brought everything from the store before going to my mom's house. My sister and her kids were there. When my son cooks, he hates when everyone is in the kitchen, so everyone was outside on the patio. My sister came outside with a weird look on her face. She asked me why my son was in the kitchen cooking. The way my sister and I parent is different. She has 2 sons and a daughter. She believes that boys shouldn't do the housework like cooking or cleaning. She thinks it's only for girls. I've seen the way she does it. Her daughter has to help cook, clean, and she has to wash her own clothes. It's not my place to tell her how to parent, but one day I told her that she's going to fail her sons, and when her daughter stops talking to her when she gets older, it's her fault. My sister doesn't let her sons do anything, and she does it for them. I just don't think it's fair how she views girls. I don't care what gender you are, cooking and cleaning is for everyone to do. My kids know how to do their own laundry, learning how to cook, and both are in crochet club. I just treat them the same. Back to the conversation. I told her he's cooking because he wants to, just leaving it like that. But like I said, my sister doesn't believe in that. She said my daughter should be doing it. My son shouldn't be in the kitchen over the hot stove. She said my son won't get a woman when he acts like one, and that was so disrespectful of her to say. Our mother just got out of the hospital and her biggest worry was my son cooking. Unbelievable, because it shouldn't have been an issue. I think ever since she got married to her husband, she's always had this thought because he praises that women need to stay home and cook. I guess things never changed. Guys, she was really mad about it. I told her she was weird for having those views on boys and on my son. I was saying the truth and she called me the jerk.
All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk? And also, will Gordon Ramsay ever find a wife?
Definitely not the jerk. And actually, I love OP's response. It has a very like Danny Lavery-ish. Like some of his advice is like to say things like "what an odd thing to say," and like that has those Danny Lavery vibes. So I really love that. I think it's a great way to just call in the question. Just be like, "That's weird." Like, why would you say that? That's weird.
Well, the thing is this. Boys need to know how to do basic chores because they're going to get out into the real world and you don't graduate high school and get assigned a wife for life or something like that, right? They're not going to be there to pick up after you and do all your chores and stuff like that. You need to learn how to do these things. Like, I spent many years doing my own clothes and everything like that. I mean, I still do my own laundry and stuff like that. Not that I'm saying that I don't, but the thing is, like, I didn't have somebody to pick up after me and stuff like that. I had to learn how to do all these chores by myself when I graduated because, I'd never learned them growing up. And I think that, that would have been probably a good thing to know before, moving out of the house and stuff like that. And so I don't think they're doing their sons any favors here, right?
Absolutely not. Yeah, and the whole idea that he'll never land a woman because he knows how to cook.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Brian made dinner tonight, and like he's married, so I mean, I guess her point's already been disproven.
I make dinner every night, Brittany.
Yes, yes, and it's very appreciated. I am very happy to have a husband who does his more than fair share in the kitchen.
Well, and the thing is this, right? There are so many counterexamples to what she's saying. There are a lot of famous chefs that cook, they're men. And I think that it's a little bit short-sighted to be like, oh, men can't cook when clearly men can.
Mm-hmm.
There's not anything to stop men from cooking. It's not like there is an appendage sensor at the stove that prevents that turns off when it's the wrong gender here, right? I mean, this is not the reality of the situation. So I think it's just a very silly take.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. My daughter Liz is turning 13, and she is having a sleepover this upcoming Friday. Not tomorrow, but 8 days from now. My wife told me that one of the mothers, who we'll call Christy, who I've never met, nor have I ever seen her at any of the PTA meetings or at any other school activities, is refusing to allow her daughter, Opal, the same age as mine, to sleep over if I'm in the house. My wife says that Christy only wanted girls and women in the house. Otherwise, Opal can't come. My daughter wants her friend to be there, but I feel that this woman has no right to make such a demand. I am not planning on leaving 12 to 13-year-old girls alone in the house with just my wife to chaperone them. My daughter thinks that I'm being a jerk about it and that I should just go away. And I think that the mother, Christy, is making a demand based on nothing but her imagined fears. The text message between my wife and Christy said, Christy, thanks for inviting Opal, who will be there. Wife says most of the girls are in Elizabeth's class, but also 2 girls from our street. And Christy says, will you be the only adult there? And OP replies, gosh no, me and my husband will both be here to make sure that they are all okay. And Christy replies, I don't allow Opal to go to sleepovers with men or teenage boys in the house. Your husband can't be there. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I understand Chrissy's concerns, and we have read some horrifying stories of, the bad actors in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, if she was just like, oh, sorry, Opal can't be there because we don't have sleepovers with men, then that, I would have, said she's not in the wrong there. But to say your husband can't be there, it seems like she's trying to force something. I think it's, again, if you don't feel like a housing situation is safe for your child because you're not familiar with the people in it, I think it's perfectly fine to say, I'm not comfortable having my child sleep over when I don't know your husband. But I don't think it's fair to demand that he leave the house.
Well, I want to know if Christy has a man in their house, right? If they have, because if they have a husband and they allow their daughter to sleep over at their own house, then I mean, they're kind of violating their own rule in that respect. Now, sorry?
Well, I was going to say, well, and that is the thing. And honestly, of course, most fathers will be fine. We had sleepovers with my friends all the time, and my dad and brother were there. I guess my brother wasn't quite a teenager when I was a kid, but, when I was a teenager. But, and nothing bad ever happened. But there, I understand the concern when you have people you don't know.
Yeah.
And I really think that should be broader, though, than just dads, because there are women out there, people of all genders who just are unsavory individuals, and it's best to know all the people in a household if you're going to have your kids over there.
No, I also agree. I think that Christy's fears are a little bit overblown in this particular case, but I understand her not wanting her daughter to be around strange men if she's uncomfortable with that. And the thing is that she could have just left it at, oh, Opal can't make it, right? She didn't have to paint this whole picture as OP was doing the wrong thing by being in their own house. And I think that is absolutely an odd request, because why would you expect him not to be at the house, right? Right,
yeah. And so, I mean, I don't even think there's necessarily anything wrong explaining, just so there's no confusion that, oh, sorry, we have a policy where if I don't know, the man household, then my daughter can't sleep over. But, again, I really think that should be applied more broadly to all the adults, making sure they're all trustworthy as you can. I mean, unfortunately, some of the worst people are sometimes the people you're closest to.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, I don't think OP's done anything wrong here. I think he's well within his right to want to stay in his own home. And maybe he and his wife can talk together about how to approach their daughter and explain the situation a little better, and help her see their side. Because I'm sure the daughter wouldn't have to want to leave her own house, to have someone else over there.
Yeah, and I think framing it that way would be a good way to approach her and talk to her about this. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Using the Word Guy to Refer to a Woman? Last night, I was leaving my botany lab a little earlier than the rest of my group. My group consists of 2 other men and 1 woman. She gave me an actually vibe since day 1, and we're only on day 4. For some context, I use the word guys to refer to a group of people, and sometimes I use you all sometimes. I figured that this was pretty normal until yesterday. Anyways, as I'm picking up, I say, see you guys later. Have a good weekend. And then I turn to walk out. She replies something I don't hear, so I turn back and I say, what? She says, actually, there's a gal here too, with a big old smirk on her face. I return the smirk and I say, actually, I'm pretty sure that guys is widely regarded as gender neutral. She responded with, actually, it's not, still bearing this huge smile. I grin and I say, okay, half sarcastically, and I walk out. Now I consider myself pretty understanding of other people, and I try my best to accommodate them and make them feel comfortable. Or at least I hope that I do. But something about her snarky, know-it-all attitude bothers me, and I don't know if I can deal with this 3.5 more months. So am I the jerk? Edit, some of you all are savage, and way meaner than me, or just Reddit warriors. I appreciate all the comments giving a different perspective about women in STEM. I'll do my best to accommodate her, even if I think that she's annoying. And to you all that are assuming that I'm a misogynist from one Reddit post, get bent. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think the way Opie handled the situation wasn't the best. I'm glad that he's going to turn this around and be more accommodating. I know a lot of people don't have a problem being referred to as guys, but it isn't inclusive language. Like I've had training before on how to use inclusive language. And this is a term that historically was originally used for men. And some people may not feel comfortable being referred to that. And so I think the important thing here is comfort. If you call someone and say, hey, you guys, and you don't know, like that's one thing. But if you continue to use a term or phrase because it's technically gender neutral and according to some definition, that's not being nice. And I think anytime you can, refer to people using the terms that they want to be referred to.
So the way I kind of view it is this. I know that a lot of people might balk at this, right? Guys is a nickname, all right? Just like any other, type of pronoun that you might use to refer to people, right? It is a nickname. In that respect, you don't call someone a nickname that they don't want to be called by, right? So if you're trying to refer to somebody in an ambiguous way, or a group of people in an ambiguous way, and some person doesn't like that, then it doesn't take any effort to change your language in a little bit of a way to make it a little bit nicer for that individual, right? Some people just don't like certain nicknames, and I mean that's the way it's going to be, right? And there are a lot of other words that you can use, like folks. See you all folks later.
Yeah, or everybody. Like that's how I greet my classes, like good morning everybody or something, everyone.
And I think that is something that they should probably consider. Like, it doesn't take any effort to be a little bit nicer to somebody else, right? Especially in this particular case. And I don't think that anyone is going to get on their case if they slip up and say something like this,
Yeah, well, and I think also too that it's important to separate your feelings about someone from, the pronouns and, terms you use from them. Because you can be annoyed by someone and still give them basic respect and dignity. I know OP does not like this woman for one reason or another, but that doesn't mean that she's any less worthy of respect and being treated like a person. So, yeah, I think it's important, again, to just, she's made it clear she doesn't like this term, so just don't use it from here on out when referring to the group. Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the blanket sprawl out on the bed?
Well, the blanket sprawled out on the bed because we skinned the blanket and threw it there.
No, it wanted to be comfortable.
No, that's actually a pretty good joke.
It is National Comfy Day, so make sure to cuddle up under a comfy blanket, wear some comfy clothes, and have a good day.
Be comfortable.
Yes.
Be comfortable. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior, folks.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on being kind to your children.
Even when your children annoy you, make sure to talk to them with respect and in a way that you would want to be talked to.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.